Acceptable homophobia.
Everyone should have a story to tell.
Um, it's weird. Like, I don't even like starting off by saying, well, I'm not gay, but I'm not gay. But here's the thing is like when we allow these stereotypes to live in other groups, then we can't question why they still live within ours. So the stereotypes that I would like to not have to answer for as a black male or just a man or single father, like there's so many demographics that we're a part of, and there's a stereotype, often negatives that go with each one of those. And if I want those eradicated from my life, then I should be aware that these exist in other groups, and where can I better myself, and where do I see these as a problem in society. So when we're talking about what we, I guess, kind of deem as acceptable, or nobody really pushes back too much on it, which they should, um, homosexual stereotypes and put downs and things like that. So, for instance, this has happened to me personally, where you turn down the advances of an often aggressive woman. And what's the first thing that, comes up? Well, he must be gay, or he must be bi, or, why wouldn't he want this or that? And it's such a it's such a cop out. Why not just that the person wasn't interested in you? Why not, because you don't often, I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm not in these circles, but how often do we hear, like, if a guy gets shot down, that he gets to jump to a myriad of excuses by saying, well, she must be a lesbian or this or that, or that. Maybe it exists. Maybe they do say, like, she's a man hater or something like that. But I find it just egregious if it happens either way, that we have to protect our ego by pseudo, shaming them into being something that they're probably not. And if they are, who cares? You made a miscalculation in judgment with this person, and big deal. You have to move on. But I find that kind of I find it kind of sad. I find it sad for the person that their ego is so damaged by something that happens to everybody. Hey, would you like to go out? No, thank you, or whatever. But there is something to be said. Maybe we can let each other down easier. I don't know. But I know in my particular instances, there wasn't like a big buildup for them to blow up and say that. It was just like that was their immediate default. And, it is what it is. But okay, moving on. Culture and style, specifically pants sagging. I don't care if you agree with it or not. It's not a place to gay shame young boys. Because what happens if they actually are gay at some point in life? And this is just a phase. It's a phase. It's a trend, like mohawks and tongue piercings and things like that. There are phases that we go through, but it doesn't mean that you should immediately be shamed into something. And if they're not, then that's just another part of building a stereotype that seems to be acceptable. I know that it stems from, like, the prison stuff, but from what I understand, the sagging and things like that, or clothes not fitting properly, part of that was in maximum security prisons. They were taking shoelaces and belts from inmates so they didn't self-harm or harm others. So you may have come across, things like that. And from what I've also heard, I've never been to prison, but I've also heard in the penal system that, if your clothes fit or not is a lesser consequence to them. So are there homosexuals in prison? Certainly. But we also have to differentiate consensual homosexuality in prison and rape. Um, because it's two different things. And again, it shouldn't be that this is where we're trying to educate young boys into getting through their phase, because most of them do. You don't see kids from 5-10 years ago that were sagging. They're still sagging now. They will grow out of it once they get a job, once that girl is interested and she's not with that style or whatever. So some people do grow out of things, and then there's some people who just don't. You still see 80-year-old men wearing leather jackets or something. And for their youth, that was very rebellious. So some people do, some people won't. But what you don't do is shame them with another group of people who have nothing to do with it in order to get them to act right. That's just my considered opinion. The second part of culture and style is dressing well, being, quote unquote, dapper. Um, Guys, there's nothing wrong with putting on a, a shirt, a tie, colors, put on some pastels, put on some colors. It doesn't have to just be a blue suit and white shirt. Like we're not always going to board meetings. When you're going out for dinner, put something else on, put something on a little fun, a little different. It doesn't make you gay to speak with an air of sophistication, to know things, as in a larger vocabulary. Have those words that really, grab your listeners. Have some stories. It's not gay to be well traveled. It's not gay to like art, foreign films, or foreign foods. It's not. None of those things are. It's just a stereotype that has been cast upon the average man by society in order to, I don't know, is it meant to keep him in a box and act a certain way? Or you guys, if you got comments, please give me your insights on this. I just know that a lot of this is just nonsense. And again, if I don't want the stereotypes to live within the demographics in which I exist, then I should recognize those and address them for others as well. And hopefully this helps. But keep in mind, for speaking the black community, for Dr. King that was killed in our name, in our cause, Harvey Milk was killed for being a gay activist. There has been suffrage and sacrifice made all around. So my biggest belief is that when it comes to oppression in the society, we are all facing and fighting the same bully, but just for different reasons. And so the sooner that we can unite and find common ground, we might actually make some headway and start to overcome. I'm going to leave it at that. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.